going on, guys? I want to make a quick video about how to stay consistent in cybersecurity, how I've been doing it. I treated every single, milestone that I've achieved, different positions. One thing that I found out that always motivated me to go for a specific certification was always because I end up in a role where I required that knowledge, and then I decided to take that certification. I definitely, that was later on, but in the beginning, Security Plus and all the other certifications that I've taken for my career was something I was doing anyway. Meaning, when I was a system engineer, I was working all within Microsoft products. So I was doing Exchange servers. So I took the certification for that. But of course, you had the elementary ones, right? You had the networking portion of it. You had a couple other basic fundamental ones. So again, it's every time when I'm in a particular role is where I get the motivation to take that certification because I want to at least check myself to make sure that I know what I'm doing. So when I was actually, working for a company that was dealing with the casinos and it was all pen testing, I did pick up studying the PMPT and then the OSCP. I read through, as much information as I could. I did the TryHackMe and the Hack the Box environments. Started watching tons of YouTube videos, but I didn't take the exam. And the reason why I didn't take the exam was because I wasn't in that role long enough for me to justify me taking that exam, even though I wish I did. So, one thing I ended up doing when I left that particular role, I got back into the government, and then that's where the whole C risk, because I was dealing a lot with incident response and the risk, and I was like, oh, okay, this makes a lot of sense, and I ended up taking that self study and that certification, which I have now obtained it. I would say, obviously, Q&A type of exams are a lot easier than exams such as like the PMPT or CP or anything else that requires a lot more hands-on than just, a couple hundred, like 100 questions thrown at you, 150 questions thrown at you. Those are a lot easier. And there's a lot of resentment towards QA type exams now. Like, just because you passed an exam with 150 question and you get a certification doesn't mean you necessarily know cybersecurity, which I agree. It does illustrate that you know how to at least read and, uh, you know, and answer some of the questions correctly, because I feel like some of the questions are very like to purposely dare to throw you off because the grammar or the way it's structured sometimes just it's too broad, and most of the answers are whatever's listed is pretty accurate, but then when you keep on saying like most accurate or the best answer, I think that's up for some of them, not all of them. I think that's up for debate, and meaning it can be debatable in many ways. If you find a good lawyer, I'm pretty sure that person can justify any answer they pick to be the best answer, right? So that's usually how I've been able to keep myself motivated because I want to be relevant and then also have the certification for that particular field that I'm in at that moment. Would I go back even though I'm not doing pen testing now? Would I still consider going back into doing OSCP? Not if it doesn't make, um, for my workload, what I have to do now versus never being able to pen test again if I don't find a role in that, or, managing a team to do that. It'll be great to have, but it wouldn't benefit me career wise. I think my, current employer would look at that and be like, okay, good for you, and that will be the last of it. Opposed to fulfilling a certification that would be relevant to my current role, and then going with that, bringing that over to the management or the company and saying, hey, now that I got the certification, use that maybe as leverage to get a pay bump or a slight increase, because you're showing that you're continuously learning and you're committing your time, even your personal time, to make yourself better for the role that you're currently in. So that's what I would, how I normally would target that, and that would be my motivation on how and why I take certifications. It's not because I just feel like wanting it and then I have it, you know. I know a lot of people do that because they do find interest in it, but um, if the interest is, it's having that knowledge is great, but if it doesn't really benefit you for having it, besides that interest, it's just you're not. I don't feel like it's proving anything to anyone. Now, if you're unemployed and you're taking these certifications, I kind of feel like that's a whole different approach, right? You're taking certifications to prove that you have this knowledge so people would actually hire you, not the fact that you're already in the job and doing certain things. Um, those are definitely exceptions. If you're planning to take a certification to prove that you know something and you want to get in that particular market of cybersecurity, by all means, do it. But how do you keep up the motivation? You seen, you'll hear people on Reddit like they fail exams over and over again, and these exams are not cheap. That's very this is very hard to swallow, especially paying $500-600 for an exam, some of them even more expensive, and you haven't passed it, but you're spending all this time in there. I would say, you know if you failed the exam recently, just put it on pause, but just keep on studying, at least keep on getting better at it before you waste any more money. Like, the last thing I want to hear is people spending another $1,000 or $1,500 to take the exam 2-3 more times and still failing it. Right? It's not going to prove anything. If anything, it's going to probably make you feel even worse that you're doing that. But if you honestly think that just because you have the certification to land this particular job that you're going after, or in this job market currently, you want to stand out, trust me, certification is not going to make you stand out. Your personality, between your personality, that's only if you actually get into an interview, right? That will be your personality. But your resume, what you can highlight, and just putting a bunch of certifications is not really going to highlight anything. It's put the labs, put everything else. There's so many options to get yourself out there besides having more and more certifications. One, two, okay. Security Plus, I think most of them are actually asking for that now. Um, and maybe in the basic ones like ISC squared CC, right? The baby ones. Um, Now these are just, obviously, I'm more focused on people who are trying to get into the industry or breaking into the cybersecurity role, and they may had a help desk role and they want to transition over to cybersecurity, which is great. This is more geared towards them. But there's plenty of people who give you roadmaps. Everyone has their own opinion on what a good roadmap is. So just wanted to share that with you guys. And comment, let me know what your thoughts are.